All right, so get this, everyone. We have a total lunar eclipse happening March 13th and 14th, 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And not just any eclipse. This one's going to be visible across all of North America.
Whoa.
So if you're in the U.S., Canada, or even parts of South America, you're in for a treat.
Wow.
Western Europe and West Africa, you'll catch it at moonset.
Okay.
And New Zealand, you'll get a glimpse at moonrise.
Nice.
But wait, it gets even cooler.
Okay, what's that?
So what's so cool about this one?
Well, I was going to let you explain this part.
Oh, okay, sure. So what's fascinating about this particular total lunar eclipse
Yeah.
is that the moon won't just disappear.
Right.
It's going to turn like a really deep coppery red.
Yeah, and that's why they call it a blood moon, right?
Exactly. It's often called a blood moon because of that.
Okay, I've always wondered about that.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of ominous.
I know, right?
Like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But seriously, what makes the moon change color like that?
Well, think about it this way. Okay.
During a lunar eclipse, the Earth is positioned directly between the sun and the moon.
Okay.
So the Earth's shadow falls on the moon, blocking the direct sunlight.
Right.
But some sunlight still reaches the moon,
Yeah.
and that's where the magic happens.
So it's not like the moon is actually bleeding or anything.
No, definitely not.
Okay, good.
The reddish hue is caused by something called Rayleigh scattering.
Rayleigh scattering.
Yeah, so as sunlight passes through the Earth's atmosphere,
Okay.
the shorter wavelengths of light, like blue and green,
Uh-huh.
they get scattered away.
Okay.
So what's left are the longer wavelengths, like red and orange, and those get bent and projected onto the moon.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like what happens during a sunset, right?
Exactly.
The sky turns those beautiful shades of red and orange because of the way sunlight is interacting with the atmosphere.
Exactly. It's the same principle at play. You can almost imagine the moon is seeing all the sunsets happening around the edge of the Earth at the same time.
That's a really cool way to think about it.
Hmm?
And it's interesting that you mentioned Rayleigh scattering.
Yeah.
It's the same phenomenon that makes the sky look blue during the day.
Right.
It's amazing how these basic principles of physics can create such stunning visual effects.
Absolutely. And the color of the moon during a total lunar eclipse can actually vary quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes it's a deep red, almost brown.
Okay.
Other times it's more of a bright coppery orange.
Oh, so like what causes that variation?
Well, there are several factors that influence the color.
Okay.
Things like the amount of dust and aerosols in the Earth's atmosphere, volcanic eruptions,
Yeah.
even recent wildfires can all affect how much light gets scattered
Wow.
and what color reaches the moon.
So each total lunar eclipse is kind of unique in its own way.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even though these events are governed by these predictable scientific principles, there's still an element of surprise and wonder to them.
Well, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. Now, I know this eclipse is going to be a long one,
It is.
but how long are we talking exactly?
So from the very beginning, when the moon first enters the Earth's penumbra, or later shadow, to the very end, the entire eclipse lasts a whopping 6 hours and 3 minutes.
Wow, that's a whole lot of eclipse.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the most dramatic part,
Yeah.
when the moon is fully immersed in the Earth's shadow
Right.
and turns red.
Yeah.
Doesn't last quite that long.
Right. The total phase, or totality,
Okay,
is shorter, but still quite a sight to behold.
they bet.
It varies slightly depending on your location.
Okay,
But let's take North America as an example.
okay.
So for those on Eastern Time,
Uh-huh.
totality will last from 2:26 a.m. to 3:31 a.m. on Friday, March 14th.
So just over an hour of blood moon action.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And for those in other time zones,
Yeah.
it'll just shift accordingly, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Central Time, you're looking at totality from 1:26 a.m. to 2:31 a.m.,
Okay.
and so on westward.
So if you're on the West Coast, you can kick off your Thursday night with a lunar eclipse viewing party.
That's right.
Now that's what I call a stellar way to end the day.
Nice.
I don't want to sound like a total newbie here,
Oh, it's okay.
but I've heard that unlike solar eclipses, lunar eclipses are completely safe to watch with the naked eye. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
During a lunar eclipse, you're looking at the moon, which is reflecting sunlight that has already been filtered through the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
There's no intense radiation to worry about,
Gotcha.
unlike a solar eclipse.
That's a relief. So no need for any special glasses or anything?
Nope, just your own two eyes. And to make the experience even more immersive, you can always grab a pair of binoculars.
Oh, okay.
Even a basic pair will magnify the view and let you see some of the moon's surface features in more detail.
Oh, that's a good idea. I bet it would be amazing to see the craters and mountains cast in that eerie red light.
It really is a mesmerizing sight.
Okay, I'm sold. I am definitely adding this to my calendar.
Yeah.
And speaking of capturing the moment, I'm guessing a lot of people will be trying to photograph this eclipse.
Probably, yeah.
Any tips for those who want to get that perfect blood moon shot?
Well, the good news is you don't need a ton of fancy equipment to get a decent photo.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I'm no Ansel Adams, but I'd love to get at least one Instagram-worthy shot of this thing.
You got this.
Okay.
Even a smartphone camera can capture the eclipse, especially if you stabilize it somehow.
Okay.
Maybe prop it up against something, or even better, use a tripod if you have one.
Good point about the tripod. I'm always amazed by the photos people get with just their phones these days. But I'm guessing if you want to get really serious about eclipse photography,
Yeah.
you'd need a bit more firepower, right?
True. If you're looking for more professional results,
Okay.
a DSLR or mirrorless camera with a telephoto lens will definitely give you more control and allow you to capture those close-up shots of the moon.
Okay, that makes sense. And I bet a telephoto lens would also be helpful for capturing the different phases of the eclipse
No,
as the shadow moves across the moon's surface.
you're absolutely right. And here's a little pro tip.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you want to get really creative, you can even try shooting a time-lapse sequence of the entire eclipse.
Oh.
You'd need a camera with interval shooting capabilities and some patience, but the results can be pretty spectacular.
Wow, that's an awesome idea. It would be so cool to see the entire eclipse condensed into a short video.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. Let's focus on getting that one good shot first.
Sounds like a plan. And remember, the most important thing is to enjoy the experience.
True.
This is a rare and beautiful celestial event, so soak it all in and appreciate the wonder of the cosmos.
I will.
All right.
Soak it in. You know, as we're talking about all these technical aspects of photographing this eclipse, it makes me wonder, back in the day, before cameras and telescopes,
Yeah.
how did people experience these events?
That's a great question. It's fascinating to think about how lunar eclipses were perceived throughout history.
Yeah.
For centuries, people around the world have observed these celestial events and kind of woven them into their myths, legends, and cultural beliefs.
Yeah, I can imagine seeing the moon suddenly turn red in the night sky would have been pretty mind-blowing
Oh, yeah.
before people understood the science behind it.
Totally.
It must have sparked some wild stories.
Absolutely. In many cultures, lunar eclipses were seen as omens
Oh, wow.
or signs of significant change.
Okay.
For example, in some ancient Chinese cultures, a lunar eclipse was believed to be a celestial dragon devouring the moon.
Whoa, a dragon eating the moon. That's intense. I guess it makes sense, though.
Right.
It's such a dramatic visual spectacle.
It is.
It's easy to see how people would have attributed supernatural powers to it.
Exactly. And in some Native American cultures,
Yeah.
lunar eclipses were associated with stories of balance and renewal. They saw it as a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things in the natural world.
It's amazing how these events have been interpreted in so many different ways
Yeah.
across cultures and throughout history.
Yeah.
But it also highlights how, regardless of our cultural background,
Yeah.
we all share a sense of awe and wonder when we look up at the night sky.
You're absolutely right. And while those early interpretations might seem far-fetched to us now,
Right?
they actually played an important role in shaping people's understanding of the universe
Yeah.
and their place within it.
That's a really interesting point. It's like these stories, myths, and legends
Yeah.
were early attempts to explain the unexplainable,
Right.
to find meaning in the patterns and events of the natural world.
Precisely. And as our scientific understanding evolved,
Nah.
we started to piece together the true nature of these celestial events.
Right.
But even today, lunar eclipses still hold a special place in our collective imagination.
Well, I know for me, learning more about the science behind it actually makes it even more awe-inspiring. It's like knowing that this is all happening because of the precise alignment of the sun, earth, and moon.
Right.
It just blows my mind.
I totally agree. And speaking of science,
Yeah.
lunar eclipses aren't just visually stunning events.
Right.
They've actually played a crucial role in advancing our understanding of Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, think about it. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon acts like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight that has passed through Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
By studying the way this light is filtered and scattered,
Mm-hmm.
scientists can gather valuable data about the composition of our atmosphere.
That's fascinating. So it's like using the eclipse as a natural laboratory to study our own planet.
Exactly. For example, by analyzing the color and intensity of the light during different stages of the eclipse,
Okay.
Scientists can learn about the presence of different gases and particles in our atmosphere.
I never would have thought about it that way. It's amazing how something as seemingly simple as observing a color change on the moon can provide such valuable scientific insights.
It really is, and it highlights how interconnected everything is, from the tiniest particles in our atmosphere to the vast celestial bodies that dance across the cosmos.
It's like this total lunar eclipse is not just a show for us to enjoy, it's also a chance for scientists to learn more about our planet and our place in the universe.
Mm,
That makes it even more special, don't you think?
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that there's always something new to discover, even in events that have been happening for billions of years.
Well, I'm definitely feeling a renewed sense of excitement about this upcoming eclipse. And speaking of excitement,
Yeah.
is there anything else we should be looking out for during the eclipse? Any cool details or phenomena that might enhance the viewing experience?
Absolutely. While the reddish hue of the blood moon is definitely the main attraction,
Right.
there are a few other things you might notice if you pay close attention.
Right, like what?
For example, as the moon enters and exits the Earth's shadow,
Mhm.
you might see a subtle grayish or bluish band along the edge of the moon.
Oh, that's interesting. What causes that?
That's actually the Earth's ozone layer.
No way.
The ozone absorbs some of the red light passing through the atmosphere, creating that slightly different hue along the edge of the shadow.
Wow, I had no idea.
Mm.
It's like we're seeing a visual representation of our own planet's protective shield.
Yeah,
It's those little details that really bring the science to life, don't they?
they really do. And another cool thing to watch for
Yeah.
is the appearance of stars that are normally hidden by the moon's brightness.
Oh, right.
As the moon dims during totality,
Yeah?
those fainter stars will start to pop out,
Mm.
making for a truly breathtaking view.
Oh, that's right. I've heard that during a total solar eclipse,
Yeah.
the sky gets so dark that you can see stars in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not quite that dramatic during a lunar eclipse, but it must still be pretty impressive.
It definitely is. It's a great reminder of how much our perception of the night sky is influenced by the moon's presence. And speaking of the night sky,
Yeah.
have you ever noticed how the moon seems to change size depending on its position in the sky?
Yeah, sometimes it looks huge, especially when it's close to the horizon. I've heard that's just an optical illusion, though, right?
Right, it's called the moon illusion.
Okay.
And scientists still debate the exact causes,
Uh-huh.
but one theory is that our brains perceive objects on the horizon as being farther away
Okay.
than objects overhead.
Right.
So when the moon is near the horizon, our brains might be tricking us into thinking it's bigger because it seems farther away.
That's so cool. It's amazing how our brains can play tricks on us like that. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that during the eclipse. Now, we've talked a lot about the visual aspects of the eclipse,
Right.
but I'm curious, is there anything we can expect to feel or experience beyond what we see?
Well, you won't feel any physical sensations directly related to the eclipse itself. It's not like you'll feel a sudden drop in temperature or anything like that.
Okay, good to know. I wasn't expecting any earthquake-like tremors,
Uh,
but you never know with these celestial events.
right. But even though there are no direct physical sensations,
Yeah.
many people report feeling a sense of awe, wonder,
Uh-huh.
and even a bit of spiritual connection when they witness a total lunar eclipse.
I can definitely see that. There's something about these grand celestial events
Yeah.
that puts things in perspective, you know?
Yeah.
It makes you realize how small and insignificant our everyday worries are
Right.
in the grand scheme of the universe.
Exactly. And it can be a powerful reminder of the beauty and mystery that surrounds us. It's a
Mhm.
chance to connect with something bigger than ourselves and to appreciate the incredible forces at play in the cosmos.